What's up, Starcraft fans? This video is brought to you by Endarthe, who is supporting my Patreon. Pulse Cannon tier supporters are higher or guaranteed one video redemption per month. This month, he requested Wiki review. This time, we are doing Fenix. So we have Eviling and Carl with us today. Talk about Fenix. How are you, Eviling?
Sore, but trying to get back into shape.
Try to get back into shape. Very nice. The only shape I'm getting into is spherical. Oh my Donnie, I just had like a shake thing that my wife likes having. Like it's not that bad. It's just literally it's just
A
fruits,
protein shake.
not protein. Like
Uh,
it's banana. There's cranberry. There's I think raspberry. I threw those three in here. Some ice, some milk, no sugar. So it's less bad, but it's the nutrients are still gone because when you blend fruits, the strands that make up the minerals, the fiber, also get broken down. So you don't really get the nutritional benefits, but you still get the sugar in those fruits. Those fruits still have sugar. Anyway, that's not what this is about. We're talking about Phoenix. If you guys want to read the wiki itself, I have put up these boxes, which are cutouts from the wiki page, so you can follow along. But Evelyn and I will just mostly talk about these straight ahead. So why don't we start? Evelyn, what do you think about this first intro section?
yep, it's pretty good regarding when he was released on, and then just talking generally what he's about, using Phoenix Hero, and then his army of champions. So pretty, yeah,
All right.
no arguments here.
Yeah, it's just straightforward. Very nicely done. Let's move on. Sidebar. What do you think about the sidebar information?
So champion specialist, yes, he's definitely that heavy offense. Yeah, he's pretty more or less focused on offense, strengths, early strength. Yeah, he can with his operational efficiency, you can circumvent your tech tree and allows you to get be ready, especially for maps like Rift of Korhal. Late game dominance hits pretty hard if he can get all his champions up, or if he can also, like for P2, get all his shells up for Caldalis. Arbiter allows teleportation, quick deployment, doesn't mention stasis. 20% discount on all forces, 50% minerals. That is a major one. Before, when it was released, you didn't have those discounts, and
Before the
that
prestige patch,
made,
you mean?
or no, on his release,
Oh yeah, on
I
his release, yeah,
remember
definitely before the prestige patch though. Yeah,
his
but yeah, uh, in his initial state, nobody really liked playing Phoenix because he played very much like a 1v1 commander, which is great if you have three bases and you only get to deal with one enemy army. But in co-op, you deal with multiple waves and only two bases, which have fewer resources than your 1v1 base. In your 1v1 base, you have 8 mineral patches. In co-op, you have 7 in your main, 5 in your expansion on Brutal. So yeah, these cost reductions are definitely much needed by Phoenix. What else?
weaknesses, significant macro. So, kind of speaking to that, a lot of Phoenix's gameplay requires you to have a good amount of macro, of your base macroed up, in order to really make use of his power. You can't really do it with just like one. I mean, you can with procedure. You can you can definitely do it with one single unit type, granted certain army composition, but it optimally you would macro out all your champions, and that in itself is a significant cost that you can't do um, on two bases regularly. If that's kind of a using the Phoenix suit is a call down that needs to be managed on its own. It's a not your conventional call down where you just set it and you could potentially either forget it or throw it away, that type of deal. Forces are somewhat fragile without use of conservative protective field. Conservatives help out a lot, but I would not say his forces are fragile. I mean, comparatively, take Miss Super Fragility. Raynor, and definitely Phoenix's forces are a lot more sturdier than that.
Maybe not a lot more, but more sturdier. But when you take into account how the second prestige plays, they are a lot sturdier than Raynor's forces because he becomes like a bargain basement Tychus sort of deal, where he has champions that feel like they can just push on continuously, and it doesn't matter if they're surrounded because they are very strong characters. Let's move on. Info. What do you think about these?
Yeah. Pretty much your basic facts. This is where we usually rip on the recommended or the suggested for what types of players. So recommended for experienced players. This is actually correct for Phoenix.
Very accurate. Agree. Hard agree. The other thing I would, it's a nitpick, but I might as well say it. It says here Phoenix can transfer between three mighty forms to adapt to any situation. It's not wrong, but if I were writing it, I would just say Phoenix can transfer between two mighty forms and a utility form in the form of the Arbiter Suit. The Arbiter Suit not very mighty, but you can get a lot of utility out of it. You can cloak your forces, you can teleport them, you can freeze enemy units, etc. But wouldn't call it mighty in the conventional sense. But again, it's just a nitpick. Otherwise, very fine. Let's move on. Prestigious. What do you
Yeah,
think?
pretty straightforward description of the procedures from in game. But I like this because it does include for P1 does not increase the cooldown of the Cyber's Arbiter. That's a pretty huge thing and is not really stated in game. So what that's excellent. Everything else, spot on.
All right. Yeah, not much to say about this. It's just literally just a description of the various prestigious that Phoenix has. Very straightforward, and you can definitely count on these. Let's move on. Next up, we have basic strategies. What do you think about these?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward on terms of how to deal with Phoenix. You have your hero, and you use the hero for mostly utility and some harassment, light harassment. Then you have your champion AIs, which are the key, one of the key points for Phoenix. Uh, get them out, and then have the shells to support them with the tactical data web. Uh, in terms of the third paragraph, general play, no objections to that. I guess the only thing that it's mostly, I guess, subjective for me is um, having enough probes out, or having keep on building probes in order to saturate your expansion when you secure it. That's dependent upon the I guess map mutators that and tempo of the game. Usually for Phoenix, you want to get, especially if you're like playing P2, you want to get Caldalis
Yeah.
out and then just have him supported with his champions. So early game, in order to get the maximum tactical data web, you may have to stop pro production, especially if you're not securing your unable to secure your expo early, then definitely favor getting a tactical data web up.
The only thing I would do differently here is I would cut this first paragraph after the word the or Phoenix is the. I'll cut this off, and then at the second paragraph, I'll cut off the word after additionally, the paragraph after additionally. I'll switch these two parts. I would say instead the main focus of Phoenix is the six different AI personalities because after the Prestige patch, he's all about those champions. Those are his main source of power in most stages of the game. They are what really give you the pushing power, the defense, the ability to keep up with the stronger commanders. Phoenix is still strong, the hero suits that is, but I would put him only secondary to his champions. That's how I feel because the strength of Phoenix is being able to just punch your way. He is, as Stixmatter mentioned before, a blunt instrument that can just punch through enemy defenses, throw Caldalis repeatedly into the enemy because he's just one unit but he tanks like a whole army's worth. So that I feel that the main power comes from the champions. But again, it's not wrong. I'm just saying the focus for me is the champions, and Phoenix, while also strong, is only a secondary or almost like a support for his champions. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I think they just went with this layout because the name Phoenix, you gotta talk about the champion in some sense. So I think it's just mostly like
I think
different
this was a holdover
different
from the
views
Prestige.
on organization.
I think this might have been a
Yes.
holdover from the pre-Prestige version of this. The pre-Prestige, you can definitely have a strong argument for Phoenix himself, but after you get the second Prestige, the main focus really is the champions. Again, not that Phoenix is not strong as a hero. It's just that the champions are so much stronger. Let's move on. Mastery strategies. What do you think Power Set 1?
So for Power Set 1, both are solid options. I partially disagree with that. I don't see that much use for the Phoenix suit's slapping speed.
Hard agree.
It's uh yeah, his suits, even the Praetor suit, if you run out of energy, then you're kind of very limited in its utility, and that's what the Phoenix suits are, in my opinion. They are very utilitarian. The Predator suit is good for tanking, killing off any batches of Zergling, small ground targets. The Dragoon suit is good for taking care of air threats, wiping out, or even ground threats. But yeah, taking out attack waves or dealing with objectives. And then the uh, Arbiter
Arbiter
suit,
suit.
great for
Cloaking, teleporting, detecting.
mobility and stasis if are putting things in timeout so that either ally can get there or whatnot. Um, yeah,
Absolutely.
so saying both are solid options. Maybe for P1, attack speed can be prioritized, but
Yeah, maybe.
you still won't make great use of it. So, uh, yeah, I usually do in terms of this spread. I usually do 7 in attack speed and then the rest 23 into offline energy regeneration, even for P1, because I find the Arbiter suit is so much you get so much utility by being extremely mobile.
Yeah, I don't even put a single point in attack speed. It's just too much of a hassle for me to min max that little amount. I don't think it's going to be that noticeable in most games. In fact, almost all games. I just go also energy region again. Like I said, Phoenix is strong, but he's just a support for his champions. So I feel that Power Set One is kind of very minor. But I mean, if I had to make a choice, I would still go 100% in energy regen because I just need that energy. Because Phoenix for me, the suits that is, Phoenix for me is a wave delete button when my army is on the other side of the map. You mentioned that the champion or the champion suits don't really have great mobility in terms of getting to the other side of the map. That's what the suits are. That's what the suits are for. You call that Dragoon suit on an attack wave, you activate the overcharge thing, and then you delete the wave by just spamming the solar cannons at it. Or you have a wave of Zerglings, you draw the Predator suit to eliminate most of the threat. And that I feel is why I want the energy regen, so that when my suits are offline, they're just regenning that, so that when I call them down again, they have enough energy to do the job that I need them to do. That for me is the most important than just single target damage. You know. Anyway, second power set.
Um, Now, in the early game, they are in no danger of dying, depending upon maps, mutators, that type of deal. Faster clear for expansion helps significantly, especially during Warbringer and Tal'Darim first, which is a thing until prestiges and
Yeah, it
or
was.
even map art or RTK. You can't be doing Tal'Darim or Warbringer first on that. Later in game, firepower, all 6 champions are more important. Uh, yeah, dependent. Something to consider is avenging protocol. So there's some, especially with a particular prestige, you can cap out on an attack speed. So depending upon how many, if your champion is going to be out on the field, or do you expect them to be do their damage, then get wiped out, and avenging protocol taking effect, you might be kind of in some sense wasting points on attack speed. So it depends upon what your intentions for the champions are.
I kind of
I
agree.
usually do
Yeah.
seven on attack speed, 23 on AI life and shields.
You know, I don't actually remember what setting I have it on, but whichever set I have it on, I usually just leave it there. I don't think it's impactful enough that it would change my setting. The only thing that I would actually change it for is something like double edged was a thing, where attack
Mhm.
speed would just mean that your champions die faster. That's pretty much the only time I will actively change it to life and shields. But if it's not there, whatever set it gets on, when I looked at the commander, it's staying there. It's not that big of a deal for me. I could just make more shells if they die, or I could just uh, set it out more aggressively to make use of its attack speed. Anyway, how about the power set 3?
Uh, yeah, that's very subjective. I think having a little bit in starting supply is helpful, depending upon what type of opening you're doing. So, for me, I usually have starting supply or eight. Um, I think 7 points into starting supply, and then 23 points into chrono boost efficiency. So that way, if I want to start with a Taldarin or Warbringer opening, or in rare cases a Mojo and Kalarian opening, then I have the ability to do so. I know CTG likes to go with a 29-1, or 29 into Chrono Boost and then one into Starting Supply, but he usually goes with Caudalis or a Gateway opening first, and that's definitely much more conducive toward that. So, um, but yeah, putting most of your points into starting supply, no, I don't think that is a thing for anyone. Um,
I gotta agree. The only reason I put any points at all in starting supply is that I don't get supply blocked because my probes come out so fast with the chrono boost efficiency. It's really amazing in the early game when you can just zip out those probes one by one, and yeah, the only thing that would hinder that is when you put out your probe so fast that your pylon doesn't finish quick enough that you get supply blocked. And that's the only reason why I put any points in starting supply at all. It turns out that if you macro well enough, you can do a single point in starting supply because 1 point is 2 supply. So you need 4 points, 4 mastery points to save 100 minerals in pylon. Is it really worth 100 minerals for your 4 points? No, I'd rather have it on chrono boost efficiency so I can, especially since units like the carrier take 2 whole agonizing, painstaking minutes to build. You want the chrono boost on there, especially on the carriers if you're making those, so that they don't take forever to build. That's why you really want to boost your chrono boost chrono boost. Yes. So that's my mentality. Just enough starting supply to not get supply blocked, and the rest of chrono boost. That's my mentality. Let's move on. Prestige strategies. Akundalar, what do you think of this comment here?
So it's a pretty good overview on how to manage P1. So how to make use of the Predator suit, the Solar Dragoon, um, and then the second paragraph talking about the Arbiter, which is going very um, due to the change on how the Arbiter suit can be is not subject to the same cooldowns as like the Predator and Solar and the Dragoon suit. It makes Phoenix play very more interestingly, where he gains a lot of mobility because you can kind of keep on spamming the Arbiter suit. Allows you to relocate very frequently, or
Yeah.
even have detection pretty frequently on a reliable basis, as long as you don't lose it. Which I'm glad he also mentions don't be losing your
Don't
suits
lose
because it
it.
increases the cooldown.
It's like Kerrigan
So
without Mega
even
Worms. Feels bad.
even for the Predator and Dragoon suit, yeah, they're to a certain extent they're almost on the field for a little too long, where you have to worry of potentially putting them in a bad situation, and incurring that cooldown if you lose them. So, um, to a certain extent, I would like their time on the lifetime on the field to be maybe about 5 seconds shorter. Uh, since the prestige benefits makes his increased energy regeneration passive useless. I uh, I disagree with that because of how the Arbiter suit can be called down, even though it disappears uh, pretty readily.
Yeah.
If you keep on making use of it to recall, to stasis, to turn on cloaking field,
You ran out
you
of
can
energy.
run into situations you run out of energy, especially if you're happy with spamming it. And as like the prestige allows for you to spam it, so why not? So that's why I usually put more points into Phoenix offline energy regen in order just to sustain the Arbiter suit. For the Dragoon and the Predator suit, they're gonna come back at full energy just because of the prestige. But it's
I
the
guess it
Arbiter
also
suit that
depends on the
is the
map.
key point.
Yeah. I guess it also depends on the
Yes.
map. If you're on Mal Warfare, for example, where you're just in one area and just keep pushing in a linear manner, just one terminal after another, you don't really need that much mobility from the Phoenix suits or
Hmm.
from the Arbiter Recall. So you can just feel free to just have as much firepower as you want if you really want to go for attack speed. But again, I don't really. When I play on the solo queue, I just generally have it on the energy regen.
Me
Although
too.
that is a good point. If you are on a mutation, for example, a weekly mutation that you know where the map is, and you know you don't need a lot of mobility on that map. For example, Oblivion Express. So you need some, but not a lot, because like you're in the center of the map, so you can just generally be where you need to be. And Mal Warfare, for example. So those are ones where you know you don't really need mobility, so you just up your damage output a little bit more to give you a little bit of a boost, you know. But yeah, pretty much agree with Eveling said. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, even on a linear map, if you get a mutation like Void Reanimators or Void Risks, then that's where you may need more mobility on what may be
Yes,
seemingly like a linear map. So
exactly.
yeah, it gives you that option.
Or you could just play P2 like a normal person. Anyway, let's move on. Second Prestige. Speaking of P2, what do you think of this?
So I really like how he outlines from the very start on what the breakpoints are for to achieving the maximum tactical
Maximum
data web for each type of
unit.
unit. So that's spot on. You should try to keep track. One thing he doesn't mention, a good way to keep track is you should have your Purifier Conclave hotkeyed, so that way you can just bring that up and see how many shells you have.
Oh
If
yeah.
I mean, you can be doing that. Usually, uh, it's best just to have a rough number in mind. But if you have a little time to make sure you have, especially for Caldalis, if it says you have seven legionnaires or six, you can build a few more. Especially if you're near supply cap, you can kind of just optimize that out. But not essential, and especially for a hectic game, you're not going to be doing that. But if
I
you got
always
the
do that.
time, then
I
very
always have
very
the conclave in the
you
control
can.
group. What are you talking about? I
Mm,
always have it in the control group.
all right.
Don't you? Because
Uh,
I always want to
why?
see. No, for me, it's all about not making sure I have the specified number of units for each, but just key champions. For example, if I'm up against air, I want to make sure that I always have 10 derps and 7 scouts. Or if I need a lot of firepower, or if I'm in a mutation where I use a lot of legionnaires or a lot of Caldalas, I want to make sure I never go below 7. So I don't actually make only 7 legionnaires for Caldalas in those situations. I tend to go like 10, 11, so I can throw a few
Yep.
away and skip a macro cycle or two and still have him at his maximum power. So for me, even if I'm running the second prestige, what's more important to me is to watch the shell count of key champions. You don't need to have this exactly, but if you're playing regular brutal, sure, you can get the exact number of each. But for mutations, you want to go for what really counts. If you need a derps, watch that number. If you need immortals, watch that number. If you want carriers, watch that number. Just know which units are most important to you and prioritize that. But even if you're not using second prestige, it's still a good idea to have the Purifier Conclave in a control group so you can always make sure that you have enough of what you want. That's my input. What do you think?
Oh yeah. No, I completely agree with that because especially for your gateway units, they're gonna be attritioned accordingly. So having a little extra more will always make sure you're on top of tactical data web. And yes, I always have the conclave hotkey. It's just I
Good banner,
guess
or
there are
just good
times I do.
practice. Yeah.
Yeah, I just forget because I got a chatty ally that starts off with telling me their life story, and I feel inclined to respond, and
Yeah, those
that's
are
when
great
oh,
allies.
I forgot to.
Starcraft is a fun game. Why not? Why not have fun with your ally? You know, it's nice, especially in the regular brutal. Yeah, have fun with it. It's just hard for me because
Genre.
my specific my specific keyboard setup requires my keyboard to be off a line. Like I use my left hand on the right side of my keyboard because of how my hotkeys function. Like it's just that's
Uh,
all that is to say. That's why it's pretty hard for me to chat in game if I'm not in the voice chat. So that's my reason. But yeah, if you just like having fun, you should totally just chat with your ally. It's great. Anyway, let's get back to our
c-
topic. Let's move on.
the the prestige overall compromise strength in Phoenix's army for more powerful champions. I mean, it's well known as
It's
Tychus
well known.
P2 Light.
Yeah,
So,
bargain basement
yep,
Tychus. All right, let us
yep.
actually move on.
So, P3 allows you to exploiting the avenging protocol. Um, Definitely something to consider for this prestige is power set 2. So, which is a champion attack speed and AI and life and shields. So usually for this one, because of the enhanced avenging protocol, you can definitely cap out on your champions attack speed, where just putting more points into their attack speed is like does nothing for you. So especially in regards to, I think it's Caldalis and Warbringer. So uh is for that one, definitely keep more points into AI life and shields. Um, Now something with its a refund policy on this, I've been experimenting with just going gateway units only and playing this kind of like a different version of P1 Rainer where you're trying to close out the game quickly, and so um, you don't. I've been playing it on just one base, and this does pretty good on just one base, and just going with Caudalis, sending in hordes of Caudalis and Talus, and yeah, you can keep up with the P2 Stepman on this pace.
Pretty good. Yeah. So
Yeah.
pretty much all there is to say. To be honest, I don't really play this prestige a lot, so I'll just defer to what you have to say about it. Let's move on. Next, we have the descriptors of the strategy section. Let's go through them. So, what do you think of this one?
So it's just going over the basic uses for your Predator suit, Solar Dragoon suit, Cyberus Arbiter suits. So nothing outright that have any issues with. The only thing I guess would be the Cyber's Arbiter suit. So it mentions its functionalities with the recall, the stasis, the cloaking. Um, the one thing he mentions is this becomes less useful on higher difficulty unless detection can be sniped, but it works great with commanders like Borzun who benefit from the cloak. It's not something I really look at it as trying to synergize with Borzun's cloak. If you can do it, then great. One thing I would like to mention is if you can stasis where if especially if it's like a Protoss where you're not too sure where the um observer might be, you just stasis in the general area and you catch the detectors. Then yeah, that takes their detection away from them. Usually most attack waves they spawn with 1 to 2 detectors, so if you can catch them both, then or catch all of them, then you pretty much become uh, uh, with
Invisible
your
men.
battle group. Yeah,
But like,
you
isn't
do not take any repercussions from the attack wave.
isn't the Arbiter suit already a detector? So why would you bother stasising it when you can
Exactly.
just snipe it, right?
If the usually they when the attack waves come, the like the overseer or the um
Observer,
uh
the Raven
observer are
science
kind of
vessel.
they're kind of in the back. So usually a lot of times they're out of the range of the detection, but stasis is a little further than that. So if you have a general idea where it is, you could knock it out without before it gets into the detection range of.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really have much to say either. Again, just a nitpick for me. This is final form. The final
Yeah.
form implies that it's the strongest form. I would just say the
Mhm.
Cyber's Artist Phoenix is right most form. Again, not much to say for me. It's mostly fine. This
Yep.
wiki in general is pretty good. It's pretty spot on. Only a few things that I would classify as nitpicks. This one is a nitpick, but uh, most of it's pretty good actually. Huh?
Yep.
All right,
Agreed.
let's move on.
Yeah. So this is going over pretty much most of the champions in details. Nothing outright that stands out to me is pretty good information. The only thing that I would kind of pick at is Colarian, a very powerful champion. Not really. He's kind of just there. I mean, if you want to talk about powerful champions, we would talk about Caldalis, and then Warbringer is definitely one. Taldarin is used to be a mainstay before Prestiges. Um, yeah,
Yeah. Again,
yeah.
mostly nitpicks for me. I would say that my nitpick this time is the wording on Caldalis focuses too much on his early game. Like he's not viable in the mid game or late game. I would say Caldalis, especially when you have the second prestige on, is viable at all stages of the game. He can deal great damage at the start, the middle, and the end. And he just as long as you have shells for him, he will do what he needs to do to just clean out all your enemies. Talus, decent mid game option. I agree, but I think Talus for me is more of an early game because when you have the
Mhm.
gateways, you can make Kalas, but you need an anti-air. And who is there that shoots up? Talus. I would say he's more of an early game. Maybe mid game, maybe late game. You can still throw her in there. You probably need to, especially since
Eh,
most enemy comps have air units. But like, she's more of an early game anti-air. Maybe she just helps out. She's an anti-air support in the mid and late game, but she's the main anti-air in the early game. Taldarn, this used to be true, especially the Taldarn for me is very true, especially before Prestigious, because I remember before Prestigious were a thing, I opened with Taldarn so I can break the rocks very quickly. I thought I was like Giga Brain at that point. Ha! Immortals! They shoot rocks very quickly, and they have strong damage versus armored, which was true. But when Caldalis, or when the second Prestige came along, like it's game over. It's just game over for the rock. It's get Caldalis because he doesn't need gas. You only need gateway, which you will get either way, and 100 minerals. And the only champion research that doesn't require gas, I think. Am I correct on this? The only champion research that does not require gas. I might be.
Correct. You
Yeah.
are correct.
Mojo. This is the other one. Mojo allows for air domination. I wouldn't say domination. Phoenix in general is weak against air. So for Mojo, I wouldn't say air domination. More like air keeping upping than domination. But other than that, yeah, this is fine. This is fine. Not too misinformative, but I guess it's fine. Not incredible, but like this one, I give this particular page like 6.5 out of 10. Sort of that. So sort of like that. Let's move on. Oh, throwing down with the best of them. What do you think about this?
Okay, so is talking about the non-champion units. Legionnaires serve as a powerful late game option as a mineral dump. I guess.
No, hard disagree
I
with
don't
that.
really think about
No,
legionnaires.
hard
Yeah.
disagree. They're not a mineral dump. They are they are Kaldal shells. You do not you want to do the opposite of throw them away. You want to keep them alive so that they all turn into Kaldalis. You do the opposite of throwing them away. You keep them safe until they're ready to be Kaldalis, and they throw the enemy away. Right? This is probably the
Yeah, I
first.
mean,
Yeah,
in general, Phoenix's army is like one likes to think of it as like you're just sending in champions to die over and over again, but you want to be strategic on how you're taking your losses. You don't want to be just throwing your shells at the enemy and just find out what sticks. You want to be trying to trigger the avenging protocol. And you don't want to be losing shells en masse because you're going to be losing your power from your tactical data web.
exactly. Yeah. So this is probably the first real miss from the article. Like,
Yeah.
we can definitely point to this one. Yeah, this is not a nitpick. This is legit misinformation. Do not throw your legionnaires away. They are not throwaway. They are Kaldalis's to be. You want them all to be Kaldalis, and you want them to preserve his tactical data web. Moving on, conservators. Oh wait, Aderps. Yeah. What do you think?
Um, derps.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not seeing. Okay, I see it now.
After
Sorry,
legionnaires,
the
you're fine. Go ahead.
yeah, it's hard for me to read because
That's
the
what she said.
text art is kind
No,
of
just kidding.
barely readable right now.
I'm not a misogynist. I promise.
Um, so adepts meanwhile serve as the best all corner unit for Phoenix. Yeah. In most cases, you should be building them regardless of the game. I mean, if you're especially if you're playing P2, all you have to do to you're building your legionnaires for Caldalis, the Angry Zealot. All you need to do to build Talus is put down a cyber core, and that's like hardly anything. So
75
um
minerals.
the one thing that the one thing to note is Talus does a debuff. So regardless of what composition she's range, she does a debuff. You're gonna be making her for pretty much almost any situation. I don't see any situation where you shouldn't be making Talus, even if you're just going pure. I mean, unless you just want to have pure Caudalis only, then sure. But yeah, if anything, just build Caldalis and Talus.
Yeah. Next, conservators.
Conservators are Phoenix's sentries. Yeah, they are arguably just as valuable. Yeah, even more so valuable because they serve as a point that you can warp in on, so you can reinforce your legionnaires and make sure Caldalis has shells. Same thing for Talus. They provide that protective field that you can either cast out. You can cast out, and then once you siege, it creates another one. So it's like a two for one special on that, and it's also protecting your ally as they push. It's very helpful for especially a fragile ally like
Brainer.
Raynor or Hanan Horner.
Yes.
So the 3 conservators should be in your army at all times to have protective field constantly. Not. I usually do 1 to 2, and I find that's
Agree.
more than enough.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you
yeah.
can go 3. It's not a
As I
big
said,
deal, but kind of too many. 2 is fine. Like Evelyn said, 2 is fine.
yeah, yeah. With with the siege ability of the conservator, will always have a protective field available. So that's unless the conservator itself dies, then you're kind of in a problem. So
Conservator dies, you're doing it
moving
wrong.
on, the robotics bay,
It's robotics facility.
the robotics bay, the immortal. r-
This is
Yep.
patently incorrect. Robo Bay is
Uh,
where you get the research. Robo facility is where you get the units. Please continue.
Phoenix has immortals, which functions as multiplayer immortal. What does that say? Immortal clone.
Does.
Can take out hybrid. So Phoenix has immortal, functions as multiplayer immortal does, and take out hybrids with ease. I wouldn't say take out hybrids with ease, but yeah, Taldarin does a pretty good job, especially as a dungeon protocol. The Colossus clear any forces with ease, especially with their the champion specific upgrade. I forget what it's called for Warbringer, but that does a hell of a lot of single target damage. So
The
and
Ravager thing. The
with the
Ravager
slowing
pile
ability,
for the Colossus.
yeah,
That's what
yeah,
it is. It's a Ravager
pretty
pile.
much, pretty much. Without the AOE.
Yeah. And it's auto
Uh,
target too. All right.
Watch the army becomes a composition if the enemy has heavy air superiority units. Yeah, they definitely like to go after your colossi. But then again, if you manage it correctly and keep Warbringer in front and keep your colossi shells in the back, you're just gonna have an angry Warbringer keep on coming back. So from Stargate, Phoenix has scouts and carriers. Quick produce and vibro and heavy anti-air. I wouldn't say heavy anti-air. Phoenix is not well known for his anti-air
I think
as per
what
se
this
other
guy is,
commanders. So,
I think what this wiki is trying to say is that is the only unit you have for that role. Not that it's great at it, but that is your only choice,
yep.
basically. In that sense, sure, but I wouldn't really brag about having. I have a scout. Amazing.
Yeah.
Please continue.
The sentence that gets me is watch them closely. Keep eye on the interceptor count. Who does that? Who looks at their carriers? If your carriers are out of interceptors, just
Maybe one
retreat
v
them
one players
away
too.
and yeah,
I don't know.
or send in another Caldalis.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Rarely anyone keeps track of your interceptor counts for co-op wise on either Carrick's carriers or Phoenix carriers or even like Han and Horner's hangar bays,
yeah. If
locust
you
scepters
if you
or
have
Stedman.
the bandwidth to check how many interceptors the carriers have, do yourself a favor and just macro instead. That's a much better use of your
Yep,
time. Make pylons, get upgrades, get
exact,
units. Watch your carriers intercept.
exactly,
Waste of time. This is probably the biggest.
exactly.
This page is probably the biggest L of this whole wiki so far. Hope this is the last one.
hmm
It's been pretty good so far. Let's continue.
Ready?
Go.
So carrier me, my opinion about this, it's saying, yeah, if you're going to go with carrier first and just pump out carriers like how a lot of people on solo queue like to do, yeah, they're essentially saying, please carry me. Usually my experience with people who are just rushing out Kalarian and making only carriers, um, they are severely hindering the tempo of their game because early on the carriers you only got by maybe the 4 minute mark, you got Kalarian and one or two other carriers. And the amount of damage they do is very minimal. Whereas if you were to spend that time to make a Caldalis and get a tactical data web up, you'd be out killing your ally pretty easily.
Significantly even.
Whereas, yeah,
Unless they're Dehaka, in
yeah,
which case
uh,
you basically have no chance. You can't
of course,
outkill
that
Dehaka.
then.
If you're Phoenix, you have no chance because Dehaka just kills. Like it's, I keep saying this whole game. It's very difficult to outkill a Dehaka. That's doubly true if you're a Phoenix. But I digress. Please continue.
Mhm. Yep. So, it is a tactic you can employ, but do yourself a favor and learn how to um keep the tempo of your game and start with either a gateway or robo first. Most likely, gateway is going to be your best choice, and uh with operation efficiency, it allows you to tech into carriers. So once you get your base ready, base setup, then yeah, if you got the extra resources and bandwidth, then yeah, definitely go for carriers. They good serve as a good anchor point for your army, but they are definitely lacking in the damage department compared to your other options.
Yeah, pretty much agree. Hard agree with everything you said. This one returns us back to normalcy. This wiki has been pretty good so far, and this page is a continuation of that goodness. Let's move on. Synergy section. Okay, what do you think about Artanis?
Uh, with the addition of Guardian Shell and Shield Overcharge, makes his potent champions almost I wouldn't say unkillable, but allows them to dish out more pain before they go down. And then they go down, and Avenging Protocol starts coming into action. So especially helpful on mutations that incur a high attrition. Yeah, it allows them to be on the field further before they go down, and when they go down, you get this damage buff and make good use of it before your next the champion goes down again. Um, One thing I would definitely like to mention that is not mentioned here, and if you have Artanis ally, put down a pylon, a starting pylon for them. They'd greatly appreciate that if they understand of what the Artanis's perk does, where he doesn't have any supply requirements. So fundamentally, he doesn't even need it to build any pylons. It helps Artanis's early game.
Key point. They have to understand that Artanis doesn't need to build pylons. I literally had an ally. This was years ago. I had an ally. I was playing as Artanis, and I saw my ally was Phoenix. So, I'll just build my infrastructure in his pylons. So I started putting down my first gateway in my ally's pylon. Actually, what happened was my ally put down a pylon. It was still building. I put down my power field on top of his pylon, like almost centered, and then I built my gateway on it. And my ally canceled the pylon. Build it as well or elsewhere. So I canceled my gateway and I built on this new pylon. And the way it is, he built another pylon further away. So I kept building my buildings in his power field. I was so grateful he was there. But somewhere along the way, he must have gotten really annoyed because he started destroying all my buildings because I kept building my my infrastructure in his base. my my half of that was completely empty. But like it's just a game.
Oh, dude.
I'm not really upset by this. I just thought it was funny that I was trying to make use of a pretty cool synergy, and my ally just destroyed me for it. Like literally destroyed me for it. He ended up leaving the game, of course, and of course I finished it on my own. But it was funny. Uh, yeah. Mutation wise,
My pylon
yeah.
story happened probably about My pylon story happened about a week ago, where I built a pylon for my Artanis ally and then as soon as that pylon finishes, he builds two more pylons right around that pylon. And I was like, what the heck is going on? But that's solo queue for you.
Mutator wise, I think they're weak against the same mutators. Like Missile Command destroys both of them. Void Rifts, I think Artanis is better against Void Rifts than is Phoenix in the late game. Early game, yes. Kaldalis, pretty great. Artanis has Archonduits though, and a couple of Zealots, so he's not far behind. But late game, Artanis can warp in when he needs to and where he needs to. Both of them, of course, can have observers everywhere, so they deal with it the same way. Missile command, both of them suck against missile command. Double edged, I guess Phoenix is better against double edged because he does have the shield overcharge, and in that regard, he can absolutely supplement Phoenix's push with shield overcharge because that will give your champions a lot longer survivability. Killbots destroy them both. So if you have Phoenix and Artanis, and you have Killbots on, you better full clear as early as possible. Void Reanimators, Artanis can warp in, Phoenix can warp in. The champion or the Phoenix suit. So yeah, they kind of overlap. So I wouldn't say they have incredible synergy, but decent. I like the word decent. For me, it's like a 6.5 out of 10
Yep.
on synergy. Not bad, but not incredible. Decent. Carax, what do you think?
Is an excellent teammate for Phoenix. Oh, hard agree.
Hard
So
agree.
benefits greatly from Carax's reconstruction beam. Yeah, all of Phoenix's units are mechanical, so all of them will benefit from it. Of course, if Carax is playing P1, then you're kind of screwed out of that. But regardless, it's still a good synergy with because Phoenix is essentially no matter what, he has to get in the fray of things, and then Carax can support him with the
Energizers.
Spear of Adun. Yes, energizers are a huge benefit for Phoenix. Usually a Carax player won't get an energizer out too early just due to the heavy gas requirements,
Yeah,
but
true.
definitely if you got a Carax player that knows what they're doing and supports Caldalis and Talus early with an energizer and a point that they can warp in on, that is significant. And then you're pairing that with a conservator that just ensures the safety of the energizer, and yeah, it's chef's kiss right there.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
otherwise, yeah, Phoenix's um, Arbiter, especially if you got a Carax player that is going with an army base, going with a frontline army. So to get, like, say, his carriers are on one end of the map, and just things are happening on the other side, you can recall them. So it's great. Or,
Don't
or
do
if
that.
they're just
Caraxes,
derping around in the
don't do
base,
that. Don't do that. Teach your Carax I like to use his own top bars. Do not recall his army. Teach him to use his top bars.
fair enough. Fair enough. Unless they are playing on lock and load and they're refusing to move out to cap a lock, then yeah, you can
Then
use
yeah,
your
that's a good
arbiter
counterpoint. I
for
agree
them.
with that one. Yeah. Mutator wise, they have pretty good synergies, I think, because for Void Rifts, Carax can take out the far ones, and he can save. Phoenix can save Carax some energy in the early game by having Kaldalis out, so you don't have to use as much Spear of Voodoo energy to take out the close ones. For Killbots, both of them kind of suck against Killbots. The Avenger, for example, yeah. Phoenix can tank, Carax can shoot from the skies. Good synergy. The missile command, Carax will keep you alive. Carax will keep Phoenix alive. Phoenix doesn't have to worry as long as Carax is there. Double edged, yeah. Repair from the repair beam or Carax's carriers, pretty good for Phoenix. Uh, Poopagators, both of them kind of suck against Poopagators. This time, I think Phoenix has. Well, if it's speed poops, both of them suck. But I think Phoenix has better
Mhm.
No, not really. They're both really bad. Both of them basically use Worker Wall and Immortals to burst down the Poopagators. That's basically it. Both of them suck against Poopagators. Void Reanimators, static defense from Carax will take care of that. Barrier, yeah, just Phoenix clears. Phoenix Caldalis will just take care of all that barrier and shenanigans.
Plow through.
Yeah, just bulldoze them. Yeah, pretty good synergy. Really good synergy. 8 out of 10 for me. Oh, one more thing. Remember when I said earlier that carriers take 2 painful, agonizing, painstaking minutes to push out? Except when you have Chrono Boost from Carax. Yes, carrier players rejoice. You get all your Chrono Boost. You get all your carriers. That's gonna make it so nice for Faith to just pump out those carriers. Another reason why these two have excellent, not good, not great, excellent synergy. 8 out of 10. Yeah,
Excellent.
excellent. Moving on.
Frozen and Phoenix work together very well, but share many of the same weaknesses. I, 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 I wouldn't say they share many of the same weaknesses. Like, let's take for example, we were talking about mutations.
We move unseen.
Missile command.
Oh yeah.
Vorazun does.
Yeah.
Missile command. Vorazun does great against missile command. Just due to Corsairs. She has a lot of hit scan, whereas Phoenix's options are a little less. He does have hit scan, but not in the most conventional ways. Vorazun can screen with her Shadow Guard early game, the map real quick wave, quick ways like Rissa Korhal. Phoenix can screen. Caldalis, that's, and in fact that should be your opening to Rissa Korhal is getting your gateway out, getting Caldalis out. Tie it.
This is
lot
probably
of
pretty
powerful
prestige.
melee units can also tie up enemy forces. Yeah.
Probably pretty prestige.
Scouts pair up nicely with Corsairs. Yeah, they kind of do.
Yeah. Sure. You kind of need to.
Cyberus Arbiters grants Phoenix's Arbory.
You kind of need to because Phoenix's anti-air sucks. You need to pair up with Corsairs.
Yes. Yeah, and then Corsairs themselves, they do light damage, whereas the Scouts do anti-armor. So that's definitely a plus.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Not the greatest pair. I think they work well together. Not sure about very well, but I think they work well together because one of Vorazun's greatest weaknesses, actually two. One of her greatest weaknesses is early game because she takes so long to tech up. Phoenix is right there. Phoenix can cover Vorazun's early game while Vorazun gets that critical mass of Corsair and Dark Templar. And Caldalis is the key. Caldalis and Phoenix suits are the key to getting through that strenuous early game so you can have a powerful mid to late game with upgraded units with undamaged armies, so you can properly barge in to Amon's base and destroy his things. The second weakness of Vorazun is detection. Phoenix's Arbiter suit is detection. That means you don't need to spend money on Corsairs as Vorazun that will just fly straight into the enemy's detection and get destroyed. Arbiter suit is amazing.
Sorry, correction. Oracles, not Corsairs.
Oh, I apologize. I do apologize. I meant Corsairs. Oh, sorry. I did it again. I'm an idiot.
Oracles.
Oracles.
Go fix the Corsairs.
Sorry. Yeah, you don't have to make those weak little oracles that just fly straight to the enemy base and get destroyed. So yeah, Phoenix's Arbiter suit, amazing synergy in that regard. Mutator-wise, I think they pair actually sort of well. I'm thinking stuff like Poopagators. Phoenix isn't great against Poopagators, but he will be if the Poopagators are held in place by a black hole or a stasis ward, right? I guess Voidrets both.
Yeah,
of them,
but
go ahead.
That's a synergy that goes well with other commanders. I mean, it's not specifically.
It's not specifically for Vorazun and Phoenix, but it is there. That's all I'm saying. Because Phoenix has a hard time with poops, Vorazun can make that much less of a hard time. Is all I'm saying.
Trivial.
Yeah. What else? Voidrets, both of them. Actually, Voidrets. Phoenix can carry Vorazun through the early game against Voidrets. They may have to team up to destroy the Far Rifts later in the game, but I guess it's an option. Especially if observers in faraway areas. Oh, by the way, speaking of observers in faraway areas, normally when they get shot down, they're dead. But with the with the Death Recall, you get a second chance. They get them killed again. Amazing. Let's
Hmm.
move on. Oh no, not yet.
Hmm.
Killbots. Both of them will struggle. You wanna clear if you're up against killbots. Missile command, like Eviling said, Warzone's Corsairs will cover for that. Double edged. Oof. Oof. COVID is the only one I
The
can think of where they have
um,
anti synergy.
the- yeah,
because
yes,
Vorzune's death recall works both ways. It will recall your coveted Kaldalis back to your main mineral line, and you guessed it, will infect all of Phoenix's workers and unalive them. Which is why, yeah, that's anti synergy on COVID. But that's pretty much the only one.
in
Just don't use Vorzun at all
in
on.
fact,
Yeah?
for Black Death, that's where you definitely do not want to be trying to make use of that synergy with the Arbor suit and trying to cloak your units
Exactly.
and essentially making everything able to go back
Mineral line.
to your command center to give it to your mineral line.
Yeah.
So
Aside from
yeah.
that, Heroes in the Storm. Phoenix is, I guess, fine as long as you keep throwing it, but not in the early to mid game. Kaldals will get sniped by Nova before he gets there, and he will get dragged by the enemy Dehaka before he gets there. So he needs something to hold the enemy in place. Oh, look at that! Vorazun's black hole. So yeah, Vorazun
Yes.
is tremendous help for Phoenix against Heroes of the Storm. Again, not specific to Phoenix and Vorazun, but it is something that Vorazun can do that synergizes well with Phoenix. So yeah, they do have, yeah, I would say also decent synergy. I would actually put this at, considering that
Hmm.
they cover for each other's weaknesses. I don't really necessarily agree with share
Probably
many of the same
7.
weaknesses. Yeah, I think 7 for Vorazun and Phoenix. Very well is actually, yeah. I guess it's not an incorrect way of describing it. Yeah, I would say it's fine. Let's move on.
Hmm.
How about Alarak and Phoenix?
Alaric and Phoenix level synergy depended on player strategy and experience with the commanders. I think that goes for anyone. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
this cop out.
unnecessary sentence in
That's
there.
ChatGPT.
In experience, yeah, yeah.
That's
In
ChatGPT right
experienced
there.
hands, Phoenix has
Uh,
yeah. In experienced hands, Phoenix and Alex simply get in each other's way. I don't think so. Both commanders are essentially frontline brawlers. They can dish out a good amount of damage, but in order to do so, they got to get in the enemy's face. Um, Now, overlapping hero abilities is somewhat similar. Army roles cause them to be clumsy duo. I disagree with that. Both of them have the ability to have a good early game presence. Alrak with his photon overcharge, and then with P3 you can get out of mothership early. That's a good anchor point, and I mean, so mothership can cover the air and ground, and then while Caldalis does heavy ground, that's a really good way to get your footing in the game. And uh, something to be said about co-op. Co-op is about if you can't establish your early and mid game, you're not going to have a late game. So even
yeah,
if you have a commander that does fantastic at the late game, who cares? You didn't get there
yeah.
if you can't secure your early and mid game.
The early and mid game is basically where a co-op
So
game is won. It's by the time you get to the late game, everything's easy because late game co-op armies are insane, except for Rainer. But for most for most commanders, um, Spider Mice I guess count. But anyway, for most commanders, the real challenge is getting
even
to the
Rainer,
late game. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. What were we saying?
even for Rainer, his late game is good.
Yeah.
This is particularly true when Phoenix tries to rely exclusively on carriers or Alaric his Wrathwalkers. Yeah, that's kind of again highlighting. You can get to those points. You can get to 200 supply of carriers if you want, but if you can't secure your early and mid game, you're not gonna get there. And same thing, Alaric and a bunch of Wrathwalkers. So uh, this first paragraph is just kind of
ChatGPT.
just fluff. Yes.
I think
Catchy fluff.
I think my real answer to this is I think they can work well together. There are some elements of synergy there. For example, when Alarak does empower me, all of Phoenix's units are mechanical. That's why it will give Alarak 2 points or twice as much power buff than he would with regular armies. Also, conservator fields will help keep your ascendants alive as Alarak. I think it's pretty good because in the early game, the ascendants have 40, 40 shields. That's nothing. They get sniped very quickly. But with conservator fields, you don't necessarily become invincible per se, but you do have a better chance of keeping your ascendants alive. And also, speaking of power fields, war prisms. If you are a Phoenix player who happens to not like making servitors for some reason, you can just warp in your units on Alarak's power field from the warp prism. So yeah, if you're low on shells and you see an Alarak nearby with an overcharged pylon or an overcharged warp prism, hey, you can totally warp in there. It's totally free. Totally use it. So yeah, another point of synergy. Mutator wise, I guess they can both kind of contribute equally for the early Void Rifts, but not equally. Phoenix has better anti-Void early. But if you're defending, Overcharge is better. So yeah, late game Void Rifts though, both of them will have to struggle to reach the far ones. Pupagators, I think Alarak has a better option here with Overcharge and Wrathwalkers. And oh, by the way, Havoc's also a great synergizing point for Phoenix. When you have when you have Havoc's, your Colossus will shoot really far, and that's really good, especially again against Pupagators and stuff. COVID, yeah, no, not much synergy there. In fact,
Yeah.
you might infect each other's armies with COVID, so not great, obviously. So killbots, both of them will struggle. Yeah, mutators kind of make them suck together, huh? Missile command, both of them are weak against it. Yeah, both of them are weak against it. Very sad. Heroes in the Storm. I guess if Phoenix can absorb the hits, Ascendants can come in and finish off the heroes. So that's an option. That is a synergistic option. Mm, yeah, I think some synergy. Maybe like a 6 out of 10. What do you think? Or 5.5?
I would say a six because
6, right?
the way I see it, both these commanders they can hit pretty hard. So if you got mutator like a mutation that is buffing the life expectancy of the units, let's say Avenger, Just Die, Barrier, Phoenix and Alaric do pretty good against that because Phoenix has with his champions good hitting power, relatively good staying power. Alarak has immense hitting power with his Ascendants and
Immense.
Wrathwalkers,
Yeah.
and even just Death Fleet. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, six sounds about right to me.
Yeah, now I think about it, both of them suck against environmental mutators. Have you ever
Mhm.
tried playing these two commanders, specifically these two, in a team
Oh,
against Twister? Flying robot, flying robo units everywhere. The mothership flying
Twister
everywhere.
going
Yeah,
nuclear.
going nuclear. Scorched Earth, lava burst, blizzard. It's pain for both of them. Anyway, let's
Blizzard
move
is a
on.
terrible one.
Blizzard is indeed
Yep.
terrible. Let's move on. Actually, no, let's not move on. There's no Zeratul portion here. What do you think about his
Yeah, yeah.
synergy with Phoenix?
Uh, yeah, they're. I mean, Zeratul is kind of one of those commanders that is you can say it's synergy, but he's just kind of doing his own thing and killing the enemy. The main thing that Phoenix provides is the early game, where Zeratul needs to get his artifacts to power up, or you're just on like Ritsakora waiting for Zeratul to come out. So
Yeah,
Phoenix covers the early game very
absolutely.
well and can allow the Zeratul ally to power up and become a force to be reckoned with his army or with cannons or both. And yeah, with his just just Zeratul. I mean, there's a reason why most tier lists for Zeratul he's always an A, A or S. So yeah, it's Zeratul is mostly doing his own thing, but yeah, being able to cover his early, it makes Phoenix and Zeratul a good synergy.
Yeah. The only
Not great synergy, but good.
Yeah, the only anti synergy I can see for both of them that is not mutator related is when Zeratul goes Cadence, he will compete against Phoenix for real estate because both those styles, if Phoenix specifically, when you go for a lot of production structures, you will compete for space against Zeratul, so that's kind of not a synergistic point. You actually
Mm,
hit the hell. You hit the nail right on the head. You just kind of do your own thing as Zeratul. With Phoenix mostly trying to keep up. I guess there is some help. For example, the conservative field, which can keep Zeratul's units alive. Zeratul is great against missile command, so Phoenix will benefit. But uh, it's not specific to both of them, but yeah, they do cover some of each other, but not. Yeah, I think. What do you think? 5.5 out of 10,
yeah,
maybe 6.
yeah, yeah.
Close to
Five point
5 though.
five
Yeah,
out of 10
5.5.
is.
Sounds about right for the level of
Yep.
synergy that they do. It's not bad. It's not
Yeah,
anti synergy, but it's not super synergistic either. Let's move on. Rainer, what do you think?
would agree. You pair conservators and medics together. It's just yeah, there's a lot of damage reduction that's going around,
Medics with
with
Caldalis.
medics healing too.
My Donnie.
Oh yeah, exactly. They both are very high damage armies and are decently fragile. Yeah, Raynor a little more fragile than Phoenix, a lot more fragile than Phoenix.
Yeah.
But yeah, with those two forms of damage mitigation, that's significant. And then, I mean, you let's say a scenario where you got conservatives on the field, you got medics on the field, you have your Cybros Arbiter doing a lot of support. You have Hyperion dishing out point defense drones. That's a lot of damage reduction while the army is allowed to deal out their heavy damage. So I would say it's pretty pretty good synergy. I would say probably about six or seven
6 or 7.
out of 10.
Thinking about synergies with you specifically, detection wise, they can kind of cover for each other in an emergency. In an emergency, if Rainer's out of scans, Phoenix can use the Arbiter suit to provide detection, and vice versa. If the Arbiter suit is destroyed, Rainer can scan, so they can kind of cover for each other's weaknesses. Uh, Unit wise, yes, you did mention that Bio can benefit greatly from the conservative field. They can stay alive for longer. But also, when you have battlecruisers, if you're going mass battlecruisers as Rainer, you can just teleport somewhere, which will give vision for Phoenix to warp in one of his suits. Or if it's the Arbiter, you can even recall your entire army. Pretty good. Yeah, that can get Phoenix to where he needs to go if you're going for that type of strategy. Also, point defense drone from the Hyperion. Point defense drone, conservative field, and medic healing. Oh my Donnie, nothing will die. Except if you have COVID. Those lots of things will die. Yes. Speaking of competing for space, Rainer also needs a lot of space for all his command centers and all his barracks
Yes.
and all his upgrade structures and all his supply depots. So you will compete for space. That being said, they do cover a lot of each other's weaknesses. Missile command, Rainer will destroy that missile command thing. Heroes from the Storm, your best option is probably for Kaldalis to bait the enemy into spider mines or something like that. Something similar. Yeah. Pupigators, Rainer has
Or
that
a
covered.
good way to
Yeah.
for Heroes of the Storm, what you can do is when the heroes come out, stasis the heroes, and then Rainer just waltzes in, lays all the spider mines, gives the spider mines ample time to arm,
That's
and then
that's good. That's a
bike
good one.
away. And when it comes off, hi, spider mine field.
That's a
I'm
good
dead
one.
now.
That's a pretty good one. I like that one. Other mutators. Mineral shields, both of them will kind of suffer. Kind of. They can both deal with
Hmm.
it individually.
Well, Raynor,
Microtransactions.
Raynor Shield, after once Raynor has enough orbital commands, he doesn't even really care about mineral shields unless it's like the case where all the mineral shields are you're on the entire mineral line. Then you gotta at least pop one because
Yeah.
you just mule hammer it and it just makes it kind of moot point after a while. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was thinking for a mutator like uh double edged. I guess the conservators will help mitigate damage for both of them. That's fine. Void Rifts, Phoenix will get those early ones, but it'll be up to Raynor to get those later ones. The early game, Phoenix has to carry Raynor through the early game so he can power up and be helpful against Rifts in the later game. For Void Rifts, yes. For COVID, yeah, that's neither of them are great. In fact, they will give the COVID to each other. Hmm. What else? I guess for air, Raynor,
Yeah.
if he goes for battle cruisers and Vikings, will have a slightly better anti-air against, than Phoenix.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess. And also
Yeah.
again, point defense drone, very
Vikings are a
helpful.
huge asset for Raynor.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing.
Hmm.
If you're in a map like Lock and Load, you can use Kaldalis to break Raynor's rocks, so he doesn't have to use his first Duskwings to expand. He can use an offense, which is great. So yeah, might be worthwhile to do that if you're in a team together. Uh, I think that's it. Yeah, let's move on. Swan and Phoenix. What do you think?
Hmm. Kind of the same deal with Raynor and Borazun is Swan is not known for a strong early game. So with um Phoenix having a very strong early game if you get your tactical data web established. Um both being mechanical armies. Unlike the Carax at Phoenix synergy, Swan takes a little while to kind of make use of that synergy, because his science vessels take a little while to come up, but he gets free repairs with his
SCVs.
SCVs. So yeah, if they're looking to um, early on, preserve your army. Yeah, you could either negotiate or look for just a idle SCV to just it's not gonna the Swan is not gonna mind because it's free.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and it says, yeah, while Phoenix can dominate the early game with his unit and Caldalis, allowing Swan to get his economy moving. That's fantastic. In terms of what Swan is known for, being Mr. Gasman, that's not really uh, a thing because Phoenix is not a commander that's limited by gas. If he gets, I mean, just without a Swan ally, getting all his gases saturated, he's going to be swimming in gas.
Sorry, I don't know what you're talking
And
about.
then
The
uh,
gas thing isn't even
gas
mentioned.
drones,
See?
gas drone,
No, the gas
gas
isn't even
drones just
mentioned.
exasperate it too much.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
Look,
sure.
the gas thing isn't even mentioned. See? It's
It's
not even
been
a thing.
it's been redacted like the Epstein files, right?
Look, it's not even mentioned. What gas thing? There's no gas thing. Look,
Release the gas files.
at least the gas files. Oh my Donnie. Oh. Yeah, I pretty much agree with the Swan section. I actually like how they synergize uh, the the gas thing. The free repair pretty good. Also, Carl Dallas gives vision to the laser drill. Pretty incredible if you ask me. And Carl Dallas' thing is splash. But if you have the laser drill combining with that, the laser will deal a lot of single target damage, which will let Kaldalis completely, well, not just Kaldalis, just the rest of the army completely destroy and flatten enemy bases. Pretty good. Oh yeah, also top bar is pretty good for Swan. Defense-wise, Swan will always be able to handle defense, siege tanks, turrets. So great for maps like Dead of Night or Minor Evac, or the Mutators where you need to run back to your base like aggressive deployment or Missile Command. Yeah, Swan will have you covered. Speaking of having you covered, also against Mineral Shields, Swan can just build. I guess so. Yeah, Swan can just use his laser drill on your on your Mineral Shields. If that's not a waste of his time, which it usually is. So just build cannon yourself if you're Phoenix. Uh, what else? Mutator wise, I guess early
Like
game.
if we were to
Yeah,
talk about
Avenger.
Avenged Air, that's where we were kind of mentioning that Phoenix may have some issues. Swan does great against Avenged Air with his missile turrets. He has a lot of options for anti-air to kind of make up for Phoenix's not so stellar anti-air. You got missile turrets, you got Goliaths, you got big one, Wraiths, you got laser drill. It's like,
It's pretty
yeah.
good.
So that's a very good synergy
It's really
between
good.
them.
Pupagators, you can absolutely go with laser drill as Swan. You don't even need the first prestige. You just need observer sieged up in really good spots so that your laser drill gets to poke the Pupagator for free. Really neat.
Sir Billy.
Yeah. Uh, what else? Uh, Killbots. Both of them will struggle against killbots though. It's just something you have to accept as fact. Both of them will struggle against killbots. Uh, Transmutation with the slower with the first prestige, or you can use top art for Swan. You can mitigate damage for Phoenix just by virtue of having fewer things to fight and deal damage. Pretty good. Uh, Double edged. Yeah, both of them will kind of do their own thing and struggle a bit. Uh, Heroes from the Storm, Laser Drill once again could help with that or will help with that. Uh, Aggressive. Yeah, I already mentioned aggressive deployment. Swan will keep that covered. Avenger, like you said, yeah. Swan can absolutely help out against Avenger Air. Yeah. So I think that's pretty good synergy. Like 7 or six point
Yep,
five.
absolute 7.
All right, 7.
No, 7. 7.
7.
It's close to Carrack's. Carrack's is better because just repair beam
And the Chrono.
with it just starts working from the get go and the chrono. Yes,
Yeah.
if
All
not
right.
playing P3.
So, yeah, let's move on. Nova. What do you think?
23 points in your chrono boost mastery.
Yeah.
29 points.
Phoenix will have a lot faster
Later,
army to build.
hmm and then can even help Nova with her getting her initial SCVs out
Yeah, Chrono
if
Boost.
you're not using that chrono.
Why wouldn't you though?
Def- yeah, the combination of defensive drone and conservators is pretty significant. So that's a good
Oh
one.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Kaldalis becomes not
in
unkillable.
terms of yeah, in terms of army wipeout ability, you got Solarite Dragoon for Phoenix, and then you have airstrikes for Nova. So I mean, you can call that synergy, but that's just kind of like
Yeah.
kill a
Sometimes it's anti
competition of
synergy.
kill stealing at that point.
Yeah, sometimes it's anti synergy when you call down one of your limited Phoenix call downs, but right as you activate the solar cannon, Nova drops an airstrike and just completely wastes your top bar. Very sad sometimes. But yeah, speaking of production ability, absolutely, Phoenix Nova will love that Chrono Boost on his Stargates or on her Stargates because the Liberators take a while to gain charges, and when you have those Chrono Boosts, that will help them out a lot. Mutator wise, Phoenix again, early game against Void Rifts. Phoenix will have to take care of stuff like reanimators coming to the base because he can warp and stuff, or use the champion suits to take care of that. So Nova doesn't have to use the airlift. That will take a lot of time. COVID wise, not really seeing a lot of good solutions for either of them. Aside from just have Nova in front and
Yeah,
destroy
cool.
everything. Yeah, Nova will just have to stay at home and work from home essentially. Where Nova is an essential worker, so she goes out in the field. Uh, yeah, not really synergy there. That one specifically. But for things like again here from the storm, you can have you can have the stasis from Arbiter for the siege tanks to put their spider mines all around the army. What works for Rainer also works for Nova. You can have
Mhm.
uh both of them will struggle against killbots, no question. But
Yes.
against missile command,
In fact, will probably struggle more.
Nova will struggle more. Yes, absolutely. Both of them can keep up with, or Nova can keep up with missile command for a while, but the splitter missiles come and just shoot down her marines, so Phoenix will have to help out. It's not a Nova takes care of everything type of deal, like Swan or Carax for
Yeah.
missile command.
Yeah.
Double edged Nova
Rare.
can, yeah, Nova can have healing and defensive drone, so that can mitigate damage a little bit, but just a little bit. For Poopagators,
Mhm.
Nova has Spider Mines. Done deal.
Mhm.
Environmental mutators, if you get stuck, Nova can just use your airlift. Or you can also use the recall. That'll also work.
Yep.
Uh, hmm. Diffusion, emit domain, not really a thing. Microtransactions. I guess for microtransactions, you can set your rally points, like all your rally points to Nova. Especially if she goes P3, you can rally everything to Nova or one of her
Yeah.
liberators, and just have them do whatever the liberator's doing, or whatever Nova's doing. That'll probably be
Actually, you
fine.
shouldn't be rallying to Nova. You
Yeah,
don't want to be rallying to Nova because that's just going to get stuff killed.
yeah. She's gonna be
If
in the enemy
P3, if
base.
P3.
Yeah, yeah. If you're going that proceed, maybe a liberator or a Raven is a better target for the rally. Could work. Uh Slim pickings. Ooh, both of them will struggle. It's just a bad one. Slim pickings is just a bad one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Short sighted. This is where Phoenix will help out Nova this time. In fact, a lot of the commanders I should have brought up short sighted, because Kaldalis will give them the vision that they need. The long range units of Nova will definitely appreciate Phoenix and Kaldalis pushing forward and giving vision to their longer range units. So that's nice. All right, let's move on. Oh wait, uh, 6.5 out of 10. That is some good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
6.
some decent synergy. All
It,
right.
of all the synergies we were talking about, I think they kind of just do their own things. You kind of have to force a
Yeah.
synergy with like defensive drones and
Yeah.
conservators. Yeah, they're just both own clear, and hopefully, yeah, if two people are splitting up or clearing the map, then once the entire map is cleared, then done deal.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on. Hot and Horner.
Yeah,
What do you think?
and Phoenix have excellent synergy. I would not say they have Carax level synergy, but yeah, they definitely have good synergy. Whereas Phoenix can secure early game, while Hun and Horner is building up their strike fighter platforms, getting out their critical mass army of either Han units or working up to the Horner units. Um, yeah, Hanan Horder has a powerful air army and one of the best straight up area damage cooldowns. Yeah, she has good cooldowns, but they have extremely long cooldown times. So I guess that is a synergy since Phoenix doesn't necessarily have cooldowns, but he has presence where it's just he has his army there and it's just gonna keep on warping in, reinforcing his army. Whereas Han and Horner is more of they definitely do not have like staying power. They have more of a hit and run type of tactics. Um,
Mm, hit and replace more like if you're going first
yeah, hit
prestige.
and replace.
Oh, actually, that's kind of what Phoenix does too.
Um,
Hit and replace, sort of.
hit and replace, but yeah, yeah, he's more of he can stay on the front lines a lot longer.
Yeah, I
Um,
guess.
but the good thing is the salvage. The salvage is definitely a good synergy for Phoenix. Where
Yes.
I mean, you no matter what, if you're playing a game where you're not losing any units as Phoenix, you're doing it wrong. So yeah, you're going to be having losing your champions, and oh, there's a little free pickup. So the next shell you have to get is not going to cost as much. That's fantastic.
It's a bargain.
So that is a pretty real good synergy.
Yeah, a conservative field also has
Vikings
Hot
can
and
also
Horner.
cover for heavy carrier compositions.
Yeah.
Vikings with their wild, as much as I like to tout the wild missiles, if you're going against heavy carrier compositions, get your sovereign battle cruisers. You only need like
Yeah,
two or
probably.
three to
Or even
one shot a
rates.
carrier. So
Or even rates.
yep.
Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, conservative fields pretty good help for Mirror Hans units since they are kind of fragile. Not kind of, really fragile. Also, not mentioned here are the Mirror Han units' debuff abilities. You have the Fear thing from the Hellbutt. You have the Tar Bomb from the Hellion. You have the Scatter
Aerosol
thingy.
stim.
Yeah, yeah. So the buff stuff from Hot and Horner will
Hmm.
help Phoenix's army. So yeah, it's pretty good synergy actually. And the salvage you mentioned makes them both more viable against killbots. It's not gonna make it easy, but that will make both of them more viable, more able to feed, since Phoenix will feed workers and observers, but will get money for it. So yeah, kind of a bargain. Things like walking infested, or not walking infested, outbreak. Things like outbreak. I think both of them will struggle since neither of them are great sustained defense. Cannons can only hold for the first 20 minutes. Once aberrations arrive, it's game over for those cannons. Yeah, both of them will
I think
struggle.
depending upon the map, if there's a lot of buildings, then maybe not so much. But yeah, between the two, they can clear buildings pretty good with strike fighters, and then just
Assuming you can
angry
clear.
zealot going in to clear. Yeah,
The
if
later
it's like dead
maps.
of night.
Yeah, the later mutations with outbreak, the devs have wisened up. They've put it on maps where you can't full clear, like Malwarfare or Void Lounge. You can't
Oh
full
yeah.
clear, or Oblivion Express. Technically, you can, but my Donnie. Uh, so Void Rifts. Ooh, hot and horror speciality. Phoenix can deal with
Hmm.
the early game, which would make hot and horror like even better. Pretty good. Void Ray Animators, yeah. Similar to Outbreak, both of them will kind of struggle against Void Ray Animators. Not fantastic. Transmutation. Conservators will help or will help Hot and Horner survive, but Hot and Horner against Transmutation should just go for Battle Cruisers. Which is good because, yeah, they will also help benefit, or they will also benefit from the conservative fields. So, also good. Again, salvage. Oh,
Hmm.
pretty good also, yeah. Here's from the store. Ooh. I guess the buff effects will help them, but it's not a direct synergy. I don't think, right? Against Hero of the Storm, so they just kind of do things that help. It's not a direct counter
Yeah,
to Hero of the Storm. Is all I'm saying. Things
yeah, definitely
like
not.
Poopagators, Hot and Horner is better with a tar bomb. Yeah, Hot and Horner
Hmm.
will do that against Killbot. As I mentioned, both of them had to contribute against
Mm,
COVID.
well, the salvage against killbots helps out immensely, and then Hunt
Yeah,
and Hoarder does a better job of feeding with Reapers. So yeah.
they cost as much as probes, so both of them have to feed.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh, Plus you get salvage, so why not feed? Anyway, uh,
Hmm.
what else? I said something earlier and I forgot. Something like uh, COVID. Yeah, COVID. Both of them will kind of struggle against COVID. Though I guess with
Suffer
Phoenix,
big time.
Phoenix can just throw his champions over and over again, and as long as the shell farm is sufficiently far away, it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
Things like short-sighted again, the Phoenix and Kalalis thing will be great to give vision to Hot and Horner stuff. Magnificent, Hot and Horner clears the entire map very quickly. of mag mines.
Yeah,
So that's pretty good. Yeah, synergy wise, it is
yeah.
good.
In fact,
7.5 or
yeah.
7?
Uh,
Close to 7.
yeah. Seven, seven,
Yeah,
seven.
closer to 7.
7.5 is pretty high
Pretty
compared
high.
to where we rated everyone else.
All right.
One mutator, aggressive deployment.
Ooh.
So uh, Phoenix kind of has issues, especially if aggressive deployment starts targeting the shell farm. Haunted Horror, you just throw down mag mines and put down a whole bunch of widow mines. Oh, you want to go after my allies' shell farm? Surprise!
Yeah. Mines to the face. Aggressively.
Yeah.
Violently, even. Oh, wait. Missile
Hmm.
command. Both of them struggle against missile command. Very sad. And also,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, as you mentioned, aggressive deploy. Anyway, yeah, 7. 7's not bad. 7's actually pretty good. Let's move on.
Hmm.
Uh, Not mentioned here, Tychus. What do you think about Tychus?
Tychus is kind of doing his own thing, as we said. P2 Tychus, and then P2 Phoenix is Tychus, P2 Tychus Light, or Bargain Basement P2 Tychus. So
Yeah.
yeah,
5.
it's kind of competing to keep pace. I mean, uh,
It's not anti synergy.
yeah, 5.
Yeah,
It's
5.
definitely not anti-synergy, unlike Borzun and Black Death.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
Yeah,
is
5.
doing your own things.
Uh, how about Arcturus?
Arcturus. So, um, Phoenix has to get in there. Arcturus can bombard stuff from very far away. Phoenix has a little issue with dealing with air or heavy air. Arcturus has so many options against air. It's
Very good
yeah.
options.
So that's a pretty good synergy. Um, yeah, in terms of
Defense.
uh, uh defense wise, yes, bunkers are
Bunkers.
great. Um, and then putting bunkers with rocket troopers in there just covers that anti-air weakness very well.
Yeah.
The non synergy that happens is uh, Phoenix is all mechanical, so intercessors don't heal any of that. So that's a
Very
little
sad.
no synergy there, but that's
Intercessors, by the
minor.
way, are
That's
the
really minor.
medevacs. In case you're wondering, very easy to get confused.
The As for the witnesses, the blimps, having the blimps follow around Phoenix's and Phoenix's army, and providing the
Detection.
indoctrinate buff, or that detection and the buff. So when you siege them, gives all units in the area 50% attack speed and movement speed. So that's significant, especially for Caldalis, who's
Yeah.
jumping or moving to each and every target. Moving a little faster helps them dish out more damage.
Combine that with Avenging Protocol. Oh, incredible. Uh,
Chef's kiss.
Mutator wise,
So
Phoenix takes care of the early game for Void Rifts. Arcturus can use a Pride of August grad for the late rifts, so pretty good. Outbreak and Void Animators, Arcturus should be better against that because his bunkers are better. Things like We Move Unseen. They can supplement each other with We Move Unseen. Intercessors. The
yeah,
Witnesses and
witnesses.
the Arbiter suit can do pretty well. Things like Minesweeper. Ooh. Arcturus is, I
Send in more
guess,
troopers.
that is humane.
Just drop more troopers.
That's so inhumane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with Minesweeper, yeah. For Minesweeper, you're just gonna make ESOs and just bombard the areas where the mines are.
Yeah, I guess that works.
It,
Killbots, that's gonna be Arcturus' job for a while, but he probably can't sustain. Phoenix has to help
yeah,
out. Yes.
yeah,
Heroes from the Storm. Ooh. Our Phoenix has to keep the enemy in place long enough for the Earth Splitters to finish them off if Arcturus can get there. Avenger, I think
well,
they kind of
I
just
mean,
brawl.
for Arcturus, you're gonna be going P3 usually against Heroes from the Storm.
That's
So
inhumane.
just make sure don't don't uh kind of space out your troopers.
Yeah.
So they don't
COVID,
overkill.
Arcturus will just stay in the Earth Splitters, so not really relevant.
Mhm.
So overall, I guess it's a 6, since at least Arcturus can get defense.
6.5, I think. I think compared to like Han and Horner, which we gave a 7. Yeah, I think Octurus does pretty good to
Yeah,
complement a lot of
I would say
what
closer to
Phoenix
6,
has.
but I guess 6.5 isn't too bad for me. Alright, let's move on.
Mhm.
Zerg commanders. Kerrigan, mediocre synergy. What do you think?
Got nothing, almost nothing for the first wave other than Zerglings or Queens or
Spines.
Spine Crawlers. You're waiting for Kerrigan to come out, so Phoenix covers that
That's Phoenix's
fantastically.
music. Uh,
Yeah. And then Phoenix is all mechanical. Kerrigan is all biological, but her malignant creep heals Phoenix's ground units, so gives him healing and also attack speed. So that's pretty fantastic. And there's one particular unit that Phoenix has that can make use of both of those, and that's the Angry Zealot. So yeah, I think that's a really good synergy. Omega Worms provide, I mean, Arbor
Omnipresence.
Suit is, yeah, is good detection, but when you have Omega Worms all over the place, that's great detection. So
Incredible
against the
detection.
legs of We Move Unseen, that trivializes it
Yeah.
in terms of making use of Omega Worms to move around. You don't usually, as a Phoenix player, you won't be making use of it. You got your own form of great mobility with the Arbiter suit, so I wouldn't say that's a good point of synergy.
It's pretty
But
good if it's there, though.
yeah, if you
I
need
wouldn't say no
extra,
if it's there.
yeah, it's good. Exactly, exactly. Um,
Defense wise, Kerrigan is
yeah.
lurkers, which
Mm-hmm.
are great against which are great for splash, but I don't know. I'm thinking about mutators like Outbreak and Void Reanimators. The best defense against that is having Omega Worms at your entrances, so you can respond to with your army. So I get
Mm-hmm.
that. So I guess that does help. I wouldn't call it great synergy. It's just great help, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Money Wave pretty good for Phoenix. I like that.
Yep.
Omega. Immobilization Wave, great to allow just cleaning up of small guys so that your army can focus on the big guys. I mean, but it's not synergy again. It's not synergy.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like help. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Void Rifts, Phoenix has to take care of the early game, but late game, with Omega Worms, you can get better access to faraway areas, especially when you have observers providing vision, and then with that vision, Carrier can spawn Omega Worms. Pretty good. Uh, Killbots, Kerrigan
Conservators
Thieves.
help out.
Yeah, they do. They help out.
Conservators helps out a lot with Kerrigan's relatively fragile arm. Even the Thorask or the Kerrigan's Ultralisk, yeah, they get focused down pretty quickly. If you have to deal with air, her Hydras get melted real quickly, and Conservators help immensely with that.
Yes. Mutators like Killbots, Kerrigan will feed that like it's nothing. Propagators, both of them kind
Absolutely.
of suck. Both of them kind of
Mm-hmm.
suck against Propagators, I guess. You have the worker wall as
Yep.
Phoenix. That's the best way to do it. Aggressive deployment, you just have to be out on the field. Things like COVID. The malignant creep will keep your mineral line alive, but like there's really no need to go back to the mineral line anyway. Just uh,
Mm-hmm.
just hide the carriers Omega Worms so that you'll have less impact on the health reduction from COVID.
Attrition.
Things like missile command, both of them will struggle. Although Kaga can redirect a lot of the fire away using her Omega Worm, so might be worth. Uh, Here from the storm. Ooh, both of them will struggle against that. Yes. Against Things like short-sighted, not really a thing because Kara can just make Torasks, as you said, which will provide more than enough vision. Mm,
Hmm.
things like Minesweeper, Omega Orb's incredible. Things like Magnificent, again, Omega Orb's incredible. Oh my Donnie. Uh, things like Transmutation, Immobilization have helped out immensely with that, so that you don't have to face a lot of smallies that can each transmutate. Even things like Mutual Assured Destruction, Omega Orbs are a very good answer. So yeah, Omega
Hmm.
Orbs, pretty good.
Duck out.
That's like the entire section of, or like half of the synergy is just Omega Orbs. It's pretty good. So with that,
Yeah.
7 out of 10. I would say mediocre.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty
Definitely.
good.
Yeah, definitely not mediocre synergy. Yeah, definitely much more than mediocre.
Yeah. Zagara. What about this one?
Phoenix and Zagara work great together. It kind of feels there. Zagara is just doing her F2A move thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
You could Kerna
I guess
booster
if you're talking
Bailing
about,
Nest,
yep,
especially with
yep.
Kerna boost
But I
efficiency.
mean, is that a Phoenix thing or is that just a Protoss commander thing? So
I
yeah,
mean, how many Protoss commanders are actually worth putting your points into Kerna boost efficiency? Just
fair,
one.
fair.
Uh, yeah, you're right. You're actually right. It's just Zagar doing her own thing mostly. Although for defense, I guess they have bio launchers for Zagara, which
Hmm.
might complement a stack of cannons in front. Bio launchers in the rear, maybe, but it's forced. It's not really great.
Yeah, that's not something you do too often.
Yeah.
So somewhat niche. Um,
Mm,
against the likes of, let's say, Voidress, Zagara is great because she's half a Brutalist for P3.
yes. Yes. That will help out Phoenix immensely.
Yeah.
Against things like Killbot. Oh,
Um,
Zagara eats it for breakfast. It doesn't eat Zagara.
yeah,
Zagara doesn't
that's
feed. She eats that for
that's a no
breakfast.
no brainer for
No
that.
brainer. Against things like Void
Both.
Reanimators and Outbreak. Ooh, you have to full clear. You have to full clear.
Mhm.
Things
But
like Missile
yeah,
Command.
Zagara is not bad at full clearing.
Yeah. I guess Missile Command, you also have to. Yeah, you gotta. Both of them struggle against Missile Command. Against things like Heroes from the Storm. Oh, hoo, hoo, hoo. Oh, not great, not great, not great. Uh, Pupagators. Oh, another one that Zagara eats for
Don't.
breakfast. Pupagators. Zagara done deal. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, how does that end up? Like 6.5 again?
Yeah, yeah. They work well together, but it's not like synergistic wise. They're just
They're just
doing
helping.
their own things, and
Yeah.
yeah, both of them have a good early game. So, uh, I mean, that's in itself you can say is a good synergy. Since yeah, as we've said, if you can't get past the early and mid game, there's no point in the late game. So both of them with
Although
a strong
Zagara can run out of
early and
steam
mid.
sometimes. If you have Avenger on,
Mm-hmm.
Zagara can run out of steam, which I guess is an opportunity for Phoenix to shine if it's against ground. Against air, Zagara will have to
Mm-hmm.
go Scourge
Yep.
heavily. Uh, Abathur. What do you think about Abathur?
Abathur, he has his men, so it applies to all units. That can help out greatly if you start taking whole damage from like the likes of Missile Command. Um, is it something to be relied upon? Not necessarily, but it's definitely helpful. Uh, both armies that will dominate later in the game. No, both can definitely get traction in the early and mid game and also late game. Um,
Abathur's late
I
game is
think
better
there
though.
was a part.
Much better.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess Vipers are pretty good
Lack of
for synergy, I guess.
Phoenix can cover Abathur's lack of early anti-air with scouts. If you're getting out your brood list early enough, Yeah, it's gonna be doing much better than relying
Yeah.
upon scouts for
Flip
anti.
that. Flip
So
that.
and then
Abathur can cover
and
Phoenix's
then you're
lack of
talking.
anti-air with ultimate
Yep,
evolutions.
Abathur has a lot of options for anti-air. He has Devourers, he has Mutalisks, he has
Ultimate evolutions.
Leviathans, he has
Stormhosts.
Brutalists, he has Bio Launchers.
What?
It's yeah.
Abathur?
What? Yeah.
No, Abathur
Oh,
does the
did I
battle
say Bio
launchers.
Launchers? I said yeah. My bad. I mean Ravager's Biles. My bad, not Bio Launchers.
I mean, they are kind of
Ravager
battle launchers.
Bile. Yeah, they are bio launchers in some way, but yeah, not bio launchers as in Cigarro's bio launchers. My bad.
All right.
So, yeah,
Mutator
but
wise, Voidrits, Abathur, easy. Poopagators, Abathur,
hmm
easy. Short sighted, both of them kind of do fine against short sighted. Yeah.
hmm
Um,
yep,
Avenger, Barrier, uh, Viper answers both of them.
hmm
Against Missile Command, ooh. I guess Men's the best solution to that. I guess Missile Command. Men's the best solution. And lots of spores.
yeah. With your ultimate evolutions and a lot of spores, you have actually better ways of dealing with missile command, especially the nukes compared to Phoenix.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Speaking of
Conserve.
nukes, Zagreus even worse
hmm
at missile command than is Phoenix. It's kind of funny.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, back to
Yep.
Abathur.
Exactly.
Back to Abathur.
So conservators can aid Abathur immensely, providing cover for fragile units. I would not call Abathur's units fragile, but conservators do help out a lot, especially with preserving brutalists. I mean, yeah, they have their symbiote shield, but having a conservator on that makes them almost near unkillable. So
Almost near unkillable.
that's a that is very good synergy. And if they're about to die, then you have Viper, disabling cloud.
Viper is a lot of Abathur synergy, to be honest. Helps out against
hmm
Transmutation. Helps out against Heroes of the Storm. Helps out against Inspiration. Uh, Killbots? No. Abathur has his own thing against Killbots. It's Evolution Chambers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, killbots are kind of moot point for Abathur, so that's taken
So it's
care
mostly
of.
Abathur helping.
Yeah,
I guess
Abathur carrying almost.
I guess you can put conservative fields on swarm hosts to keep them alive for longer
Yeah.
if they're being
Oh
attacked.
yeah,
That's about
if
it
they're being
actually.
attacked.
That's about it. So
Uh,
it's a one-way synergy.
yeah. To say Abathur and Phoenix have mediocre synergy and Zagara and Phoenix work great together, I would kind of flip those two around. Um, yeah, Zagara is less synergistic than Abathur to Phoenix, in my opinion.
Well, that being said, it's not. I don't think it's that different. Like they do things like like Abathur. Yes, doesn't have great working together. It's more like Abathur's greatness naturally lifts up
Is outweighing.
Phoenix.
Fair enough.
That's what I would
Fair
say.
enough. Fair enough.
So like maybe
Yeah,
better, maybe 6.5, but
sure.
not a lot higher. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's move on. Stukov and Phoenix.
Yeah. Stukov takes a little while to ramp up, whereas Phoenix
Right
can
there.
cover that
Yeah.
early game.
Yeah.
That's perfect. We were talking about like the idea of uh yeah, just being able to cover that early game and allows Stukov just to build his massive bunkers and just kind of steamroll the rest of the game. Um, Phoenix kind of relies, or Stukov kind of relies on death by 1,000 cuts, whereas um, Phoenix is like death by 2 cuts. So that kind of
Both by
covers those
Caldalis.
two bases.
Uh,
Yeah, exactly.
uh,
So that can work out really well on, especially on mutators like Hardened Will,
ooh.
where
Yeah.
Phoenix's Caldalis's output is significantly reduced, whereas Stukov's billions of infested don't really care about that. So that kind of helps that. Whereas then Phoenix can concentrate on like objectives or what is granting that hardened will buff and take care of those things. So that it just gets while Stukov is maintaining the constant damage output and um uh, bodies just to distract.
Mm,
Phoenix is we've been hinting is not really well known for good anti-air. Billions of infested. That's a lot of anti-air there. You got Alexander, and if you need even more anti-air, you yourself, um, uh, your Diamondbacks to a certain degree, and
Diamondbacks,
then but you also
Brood
infested
Queens.
Liberators are also.
Yeah.
Yep, and
Yeah.
Brood Queens.
Mutator wise, both of them kind of. Well, Phoenix actually is pretty good early game against Void Rifts. Late game, both of them
Mm-hmm.
will have to get those far ones. Neither of them have great like going there to destroy it ability. Here's some storm. No, it's just throwing enough bodies at to make it not a thing.
Yeah.
Again, Killbots, Stukov eats them for breakfast. Poopagators,
Yep.
both of them. Actually, Stukov is actually better with Diamondbacks against Poopagators. So that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Short-sighted, neither of them have a problem. They just throw the bodies at the enemy until the enemy stops being a thing. Same deal with
Yep.
Outbreak and Void Animators. They just throw bodies at it. It'll solve itself.
Mm-hmm.
Against mm, Propagators. Transmutation. That was the transmutation. Anti-synergy for Stukov. Just bad. Just
Yeah,
bad.
big time surgery.
Yeah.
In most cases, there's good synergy, except for that niche one like transmutation. Now, to
Yes.
say they have very powerful synergy, I wouldn't call it a Carrax level synergy, but yeah, it's pretty good synergy.
So like a 7?
Yeah, 7, even 7.5 maybe.
You think it's better than Abathur? We give Abathur
What did
6.5.
we put Avatar at 6.5? I thought we put it higher. Okay. Oh.
I think it's around about the same to be
Yeah.
honest, but it's not
Yeah.
because
I in terms of synergy wise with covering up their each other's weaknesses, yes. We kind of established Avatar is kind of more doing his own thing, and we're
yeah,
more of carrying Phoenix to a
rather
certain
than
extent. So
synergy.
would you call that?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not really a synergy.
that's just Abathur being awesome. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
all right, 6.5 sounds fine. Not too bad.
Okay,
Uh,
sounds good.
Dehaka and Phoenix moderate synergy, overlapping mechanics. Eh? What does this
Yeah, I
mean?
don't get the overlapping mechanics part of that. The Haka is just going to outkill the Phoenix. So it's
Exactly.
kind of like he's carrying him. Kind of the same. I mean, we've always kind of put the Haka and Avatar kind of in the same boat, and so yeah, they're kind of carrying the Phoenix to a certain extent. It's just that's how good the Haka is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, you could say there's synergy, like as if the Dahaka player is playing P1. Oh yeah, getting getting the eat and buffing Phoenix's armor. That's a significant synergy right there. But that goes with any commander or any other ally commander.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's
yeah,
mostly
I would say
Phoenix.
the Dahaka's
Yeah.
the anti-air is definitely much stronger than Phoenix's. So, but then again, that goes into the realm of is the Haka carrying the game, and
Yeah.
that in itself less of a synergy than
Then just
just the
Dehaka being
Haka
awesome.
carrying.
Yeah. I think this is less
Yeah,
like a 5 because like Dehaka
yeah,
is just doing his own thing. He's just coincidentally helping out Phoenix by being awesome, but not really synergizing,
yeah,
you know? Like Most of the mutators
Yep.
I'm thinking of, if one of them is good at it, it's Dahaka. Like Void Rifts. I
Yeah.
guess Void Rifts is the one where Phoenix is helpful in the early game, but once Dahaka gets online,
Hmm.
it's Dahaka all the way. Also, we move and scene. Phoenix will help out Dahaka because he has detection. He has access to detection earlier. That's actually pretty
Yep.
nice. Well, things like
In
missile
fact, he could
command.
have real
Yeah,
early detection because all you need is for
splash.
detection real early.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just need a pylon and a cannon. You don't need to build a forge.
true. Uh, things like void rifts. It's Phoenix. Yeah, I already mentioned that. We move and scene. Yeah, Phoenix in the early game. Uh, things like missile command. Both of them suck. Things like Hero from the Storm. Doc, I think is just better. I guess here.
Yeah,
Although Phoenix can throw Kaldal's bodies at it, and that would be pretty good. At least keeping the
yeah.
the mobs contained.
Keeping the pace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you have to contain the mobs so that you can focus on the heroes. So I think it's a pretty good way.
yeah.
But again, it's not synergy. It's more like helping. Uh,
Hmm.
COVID. Not really. No, I don't see any synergy there. Outbreak and void animators. Not really. Not really. Yeah,
Both are just focused on clearing the map.
yeah, I'm getting a lot of not reallys here. So yeah, that sounds like a 5 out of 10. All right, let's move
Yeah,
on.
I think
Yeah,
this is pretty accurate saying moderate synergy.
yeah, yeah. That's fine. Last one not mentioned. Set boy. What do you think?
Both are mechanical. Um, the green zone is fantastic for green zone. Overcharge on the so Stetman, he has green zone, overcharge, and you throw a conservator into the field into that, and you got angry death ball throwing out balls and angry zealot, killing everything. It's that is pure chef's kiss. Um, and then if you have the APM to do it, then you switch overcharge green zone, get the shield on, switch to blue zone, get the attack speed buff on, switch back to green zone, and yeah, it's just killtastic, very killtastic.
Yeah,
Uh, uh, it's uh, it, one of I guess Phoenix's downsides is he can't repair. Oh,
green
Step Boy can
zone.
repair.
Oh yeah, repair
Green
too. Yeah,
zone, and then if you need building damage, damaged buildings to be repaired, then send out a drone. So yeah, Step Boy can I mean even just being in blue zone, being able to allow Caudalis to switch to targets much more quickly. I'm almost to the point he doesn't even need avenging protocol. Yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic.
yeah.
Z- uh Zerglings running interference to that, uh, and just anything else is just topping on the cake. I think, uh, again, I don't know if it's Karak's level of synergy where repair beam is just automatic. You don't have to really think about it. Step boys, Steadalites, and Green Zone, you kind of have to do a little finagling. It's not that much, but yeah, it's still something
But
more than just automatic repair beam.
is that synergy or is that just that boy being awesome? Mm,
I would say it's synergy because Step Boy is providing a lot. I mean, just the zone itself is providing a lot of complementary things or buffs to Phoenix, and then Phoenix is able to capitalize on that, whereas no other commander provides it. Um, and I get what you're saying now. Is it kind
yeah,
of like the Haka and Abathur case?
yeah. That's what I was wondering. Because yeah, Step boy does help a lot. Green zone, overcharge, blue zone, like overcharge, like, but what do the others should cover with each other? The synergy I'm seeing here is Stet Boy sucks until Gary's out, and that's 2 to 4 minutes, and that's
Mm,
Caldalis' time to shine. So that
yep.
covers early rifts, that covers rifts to Coral Hall.
Yep.
Once Poopagators are out, what do either of them have? Not much. Worker Wall, that's it.
Yeah.
I guess
Step
Banelings to a
Boy
certain
has a
extent.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Banelings. I was about to mention that. So. Yeah.
Against Heroes from the Storm. Actually, yeah. Heroes from the Storm. Green Zone Overcharge will help both of them, actually. Yeah. Okay.
Stetlings.
In that sense, I can see that being a synergy because the Green Zone not overcharge not only the Stet Zerglings, but also Caldalis, and that'll help him brawl for
Mm-hmm.
longer, and he deals more damage than the Zerglings. So yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, that works. Killbots, Stetboy can feed. Uh, Transmutation, Super Gary is super. Plus, Green Zone Overcharge keeps you alive. No transmutation.
Yep.
Things like uh, eminent domain. Ooh, I guess you have to,
Eminent domain.
yeah, for the satellites.
Ah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
mm, I guess you
P1.
could build them in unpathable terrain. I guess void animators. Yeah, void animators. You can have the satellites give you vision of where they are. So pretty good. Uh, what else? Uh, Meteos your destruction. Green zone again. Overcharge again. Yeah. Although Phoenix doesn't really care about Meteos your destruction. He just uses one of his shells. He just throws the next one in. So that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, hmm.
A good synergy between our kind of more like Step Boy giving Phoenix something. Outside of being offline, there's no way for the Phoenix to
Recharge
regain
energy.
energy. But
Yeah.
exactly, you can either recharge energy through the purple
Purple zone
zone,
or
or the Step Fester
yeah.
Mecha
Okay.
Infest.
I guess that's something. That is something. So is that like a
Mhm.
7?
Either 6.5 to 7. Mhm.
Yeah. That's slightly better than Abathur, I think, because Abathur is just being awesome. But like
Yeah.
the disabling
Yep.
cloud, it's just Abathur doing Abathur things. But Stetson Overcharge, that specifically buffs Phoenix's units by giving them shields or faster attack speed or regen. So I think it's more synergy than just Stetboy being awesome. That being said, Stetboy
Mhm.
is awesome in a lot of these things. So I guess 7.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
sure.
Step Boy in itself is good synergy with almost every other commander just due to his stat zones.
Yeah. All right. I guess
Uh,
that's gonna be it.
yeah.
That's the last commander we have. 2 hours, my Donnie.
Yep.
Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. If you have an idea of what else to do, please leave it in the comment. I'll see you guys next time.